So I've had the good fortune over the last couple of years to test out a number of products from the company Serotonin Outdoors. Things like a small collapsible titanium wood gas stove, a small folding trail table, a tarp intended for hammock camping. So when the company reached out recently and offered to send me their Summit Hub system, then I looked at it and said, yeah, I would be interested in that. And if you're interested in finding out why, keep watching. So this is the stuff sack that everything that is included with the Summit Hub system came with. So it's a nice ripstop nylon stuff sack. So inside, let's take a look at the components. To start with, the star of the show and the reason why it is called a Summit Hub system is this component right here. It is a pot stand, stove stand combination. You fold out the legs, as you can see. They lock into place. There's little springs to help them do so. And with this, I can use it either with a gas canister stove attachment that you saw when I opened the video up, or with an included alcohol stove as well. And there are a few other accessory components that go along with this system. So start with, let me grab the gas canister stove, and I'll put it together with that. So in order to use this with the gas canister stove, so you can see this is what I have. What's nice about this is it has the generator on this side, the preheat tube for use during cold weather. And while I haven't had to use it yet with cold weather, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to do so. So the one thing I cannot tell you is what the BTUs of this stove is, but I can give you the performance results when I did my testing with it. So here's what happens. I want you to look at the Summit Hub right here, and there's a notch there that you place the stove in like this, and then a little turn knob to tighten it in, and that's it, right? So this is now ready to use as a remote gas canister stove, and that's what I'm going to use today to heat my water for coffee. So it makes for a nice system, and if this is all you wanted to use it for, then it's actually a nice wide stable system that you can fold down and put away in the stuff sack. Take out all the other components. Not bad at all. I'll give you all the weights for these things individually, then you can add them up according to what you might want to take out on any given day. So rather than give you the total package weight, I think it makes more sense that it'll all be in the video description. If I wanted to use the Hub system with an alcohol stove, this is the stove that was included. So inside another little ripstop nylon bag is a wick style stove. This one uses, rather than carbon felt, this uses the ceramic wool. I'll open that up and show you. So you can see the ceramic wool inside here. And the concept is that all you have to do is just lay this in the center, and it fits just perfectly right there. And there's a good pot gap of about 1.25 inches to the bottom here. Yeah, so it's a nice wick style stove, and it's very, very effective as well. Now, the other thing I can show you about this is the lid. It does screw on. It's all aluminum, very, very lightweight. Has a little fold-out handle so that you can snuff it out at a distance. So that's the system itself, and I've used it with this. I'll give you the results of the testing I did with that in a few moments' time. But if you're not a fan of carbon felt or the ceramic wool type alcohol wick stoves, then you could also use this with a Trangia. So it's actually sized that you can place a Trangia burner in there and use this as the stand. Now the only thing I'll say is it doesn't have a very good pot gap. It's only about 1/2 inch. As a result, my testing, it was actually quite slow to the boil, but I'll show you what I used in my testing and a workaround that might actually improve performance. All right, so those are the primary components, but there are a couple of other things that came along with this. So as you might expect, a pictorial manual on how everything works. There is a small windscreen that you can use to wrap around this system and just keep it a little bit protected from the wind. I'll actually set it up today when I go to boil my water. One last thing, and I think it's an attempt to extend the versatility of this system, is this. It's a little telescopic mount on the end, what would you call it, a 1/4 inch 20 mount that you can put on the bottom of a camera, bottom of a lot of the flashlights or small lanterns that you can use it with. It extends out quite a good distance. And so you would actually hook it into the system just like I did the stove down here. And yeah, so that's just an added little bonus feature. I'm not sure how often I'll use that. I could see using it with the one of the lamps on occasion. The other thing they demonstrate using it with in the manual is a mosquito coil. So you can actually use this with a mosquito coil and have it set up somewhere. That's not a bad thought as well. I do like using mosquito coils during the summertime. So I've set the hub system up on a rock with the gas canister stove attached. I have my canister of gas over here to the side. The pot I'm going to be using to boil my water in is the Fire Maple Petrol G2. That's the larger of the pots. I wanted to show you the windscreen system. It's very simple, aluminum, not very tall. I'll give you the dimensions and everything in the video description and the weight. It is hooked together with a kind of a U-pin at this end where most of the time they're open, and you can remove that U-pin if you want and use it that way. But it's intended to fit over top of the system. Probably, there we go, a little bit better. Like that, just to keep it as compact as reasonable. There is just a tiny bit of clearance between the top of the wind panels and the pot supports here. It does greatly reduce the impact of the wind laterally, robbing any of the heat away, but it doesn't totally do so. So if you're looking for more wind protection than this, you may want to sub out another windscreen. I have one with me today. I'll show you that you could use instead if you're using this. But this is very light, very compact, and it does work well with the system. All right, so let me get this lit up, get the gas flow. All right, get the pot on. Hey, that's all there is to it. So what I will do now is when my water comes to a boil, I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, and then we'll wrap this video up. So I've retreated to my basement studio, otherwise known as the toy room, to do a few more demonstrations with the Serotonin Outdoors Summit Hub system. What I'll need to do in order for you to get the best look at it is reposition the camera, and then we'll get started. All right, I want to start by taking another look at the windscreen, the one that comes with the Summit Hub system, so you can get a better idea of how it fits around the pot stand, which is the hub of the whole system. So you to open it up now. I don't think I showed this while we were out in the woods. This U-pin is removable, so that if you want to lay it out flat or just hold it part way around, you can do that. But if you want to be able to close it in around the system, you can do that. And I'll show you how that works from a different angle, one that is more directed towards you. So you can see it's quite triangular. You can get just a little bit of flexibility in it in terms of how wide and spaced out it is. But here's what I wanted to show you, and I'm not sure how well it's going to show up, but we'll give it our best try. This pot I want to lay on top just to give you an idea how much clearance there is. It's about 1/8, maybe 1/4 of an inch between the bottom of the pot and the top of the windscreen. So that is pretty well covered up against the wind coming in laterally. Yet there's enough clearance around the outside to allow for off-gassing or allow for the exhaust of the stove itself. So that's pretty close to it. Now, if I switch out that pot and I put in the Fire Maple pot, this is the Petrol G2, you can see it kind of sits down inside just a tiny bit. But of course, the heat exchanger is a little bit how should I say, exposed, but that hasn't been an issue in performance. So that's just what I wanted to show you. Now, as an option, I point this out, not that you have to go out and purchase this, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with the one that comes with it, but I have one of my own. This is another small aluminum windscreen. It's a little bit longer and a little bit taller, and this will allow me just a bit more flexibility in how I set up. Now you can see I'm completely surrounded it. I have plenty of rooms for even quite big pots, and now I'm well below, let's put this one on, well below, or well above, I should say, the pot gaps. The pot stand is below the top of the screen, so that's even more protective. So while the other one works, this one may just offer you a little bit more protection. Of course, the downside is there's more weight involved with this, so I'll put the weight comparisons in the video description for you as well. All right, so the next thing I want to do is give you the flame pattern for the gas stove so they can see what that looks like. So I'll have to turn the lights off, and then we'll fire this up. Start the gas. Turn the light off. I'll turn it down to its lowest that I think it'll continue to go with. That's a pretty good low flame that we can do some simmering with. I think I can go a tiny bit lower, but at this point you don't want to risk the flame going out. And now let's turn it up full blast. And there's considerable power there as well. All right, we'll move on to the next demonstration. The next demonstration is to show using the hub system with the included alcohol stove. And this is the one that uses the ceramic wool in the center. You can see there's a little bit of spare room if you want to go to something slightly bigger. Now, I'm not going to bother turning the lights off for this because, well, maybe I will, but it's, it's hard to demonstrate an alcohol stove. Here's something that's really kind of cool about this type of a stove. You saw the alcohol I just poured in. Nothing's coming out. Makes it quite a safe stove to use. And it's on, believe it or not. I can see the heat rising, but I can't see the flames. Let me just see if I can turn off a few lights and give you at least a bit of a demonstration of what it looks like. All right, so there you can get an idea of the blue flame. Very nicely central oriented, and yeah, it just works, right? I'll give you the pot gaps and everything. So I really like using this stove for a variety of reasons, mostly because it's lightweight, its simplicity. It just works during pretty much any weather, and I've mentioned this already, the snuffer works out very well as well. For the next demonstration, I wanted to show using the hub system with alternative alcohol stoves, and obviously the one everybody thinks about right away is the Trangia. So there's my Trangia, drops in, you can see it has just a little bit of room for movement inside, just what you want. So really you can't put anything much larger in the base size than the diameter of the Trangia. I'll put that in the video description for your reference if you're wondering if the one that you have fits. And I'll put a kettle on, but I don't know how well this is going to show up. The pot gap here is just about 3/4 of an inch, so it will work. It's just a little bit slow, and the boil times reflected that. And I also want to show using it with the Petrol G2. So it sits on well, it brings the pot down lower. Now, it doesn't bring the bottom of the pot down lower. It actually just brings the heat shield, or not the heat shield, the heat exchanger to kind of encompass the flames a little bit. So it works out quite well like that. But if you want to bring the pot up to a more functional or more efficient pot height, the easiest thing to do is just turn this 90 degrees and set it down. You're still going to get some of the effect of the heat exchanger, but you're going to get a higher pot gap. Now you're at about 1 1/4 inches to the bottom of the pot. The flame is still going to spread out. The heat exchanger is still going to grab it. It's just not on as secure as it was when you dropped it into the grooves. It's just as secure as it would be with any other kettle, so I just point that out as well. All right, now I do have another alcohol stove here. And this is a clone of the Evernew Titanium. This one is made by Tom Shoe, but it fits in as well. Now, my experience with these these Evernew clones is that they're a little bit slow to get going because they don't have a wick inside, but once they do, they go very, very well. So this has the jets at the 2 heights. I don't think it really matters how you use this. This is going to work out quite well inside. Just a small thing, I haven't tried it yet, but I may do so at some point, well, I will do so at some point, is some type of a preheater. So if you had a little tiny pan, little cap like that you can put underneath it, put a couple of drops of alcohol in it, light it up with alcohol inside of here. That'll preheat the stove from underneath, and the bloom time, incredibly fast. You just have to be a little bit more careful about doing it. I've done that with some aluminum foil as well, just made a little cup shape out of it, and it does help to get these going sooner or later. The only difference is you're going to get a faster boil time, but it's going to run out faster. If you do it naturally without anything underneath it, it'll still come to a boil, but it'll just take longer, but the runtime will also be longer. So 6 of one, half a dozen another. And the last demonstration is how to use the TelePole. This is the little telescopic mount that has the 1/4 inch 20 thread on top. So like a camera mount, tripod mount. You can use it with cameras, or you can use it with flashlights or any lantern that has the same acceptance on top of it. So to install it, put it in the same place that I would the gas stove. You can see I'm turning the knurled threads to lock it into place, and it's well locked in. So the flashlight I'm going to demonstrate it with is the Workhorse HD02, a big light that I've reviewed recently. You can see the 1/4 inch 20 on the bottom, so we'll put that on. It'll bottom out, and then there's the threads on top of the TelePole. Now, you can extend it up, you can push it down. I showed how high it would go, and at this point, now I have an area lamp, and all I have to do is get my fingernails to do the job for me. is open that up, and now I have a lamp that I can work with underneath while I'm out in the woods, maybe preparing a meal and everything, then switch out this and put my stove in so that I can get everything going there. All right, let's go back to the woods. A few closing thoughts for the Summit Hub System from Serotonin Outdoors. So what I like most about this is clearly the versatility that it offers. Set up with the remote gas canister stove as I have it now, or with the alcohol stove, it gives me options and what type of fuel I want to use. I like that I can use it with other alcohol stoves as well, but as you saw with the Trangia, it's not the best most compatible, as the pot gap is a little slow, resulting in a slower burn. I mean, it works, it's just a little slower. I like that you can use the hub system with that telescopic mount. How often I'll use it that way, I'm not so sure, but it does work effectively, as you saw in the demonstration. The included windscreen, again, it works. It's small, it's lightweight. It's the minimum that I would use with this system. You may want to consider subbing it out for something just a little bit taller, a little bit longer, just to get a bit more room, working room around the inside. But of course, if you do that, you're going to increase the weight of your overall system. But you know, that's entirely up to you. I think it works well enough as is, but I'll probably take the larger windscreen out with me when I go places. I'm really looking forward to trying this out in the winter time to see how well that generator works, so that I can use an isobutane canister inverted, or even propane. I think it'll probably work well enough with that as well. All right, I should mention that this is still in Kickstarter at the time of this recording, and the links I provide you to take a look at it will be to the Kickstarter. If the Kickstarter is over with, then that Kickstarter link will take you to the website where you can probably purchase it there as well. All the information I have for the Summit Hub System will be in the video description. All the weights for each component individually, as I mentioned earlier, as well as the results of all the testing I did, will be there for your reference. If you have any comments or questions, put those in the comments section. But until next time, get out and explore and take that path less traveled, because it will make all the difference. Bye for now.